Deep in the silence of space, the colony ship Aurora's Hope drifted like a silver dream. It carried 200 human children, all laughing and excited for their new home on the colony world Illyria Prime. Teachers, caretakers, and a few soldiers watched over them. It was supposed to be a peaceful journey, the start of a brighter future for humanity among the stars. Then, without warning, everything went dark. The last transmission from Aurora's Hope was a scream, a child's terrified voice, followed by static. No distress signal, no life signs, nothing. The ship was gone. For 3 long days, Earth's command tried to reach them. Every signal bounced back empty. Then satellite sensors caught a faint glimpse. 3 alien ships moving away from the colony route, their engines glowing an eerie blue. At first, no one believed it. The Galactic Council, a union of powerful alien races, quickly called the event an accident. They said the ship had entered restricted space, belonging to an empire called the Velthar Dominion. When human diplomats begged for help, the aliens simply said, "You broke the law. The matter is closed," but on Earth people were not calm. Panic spread through the colonies. Parents screamed in the streets. News networks showed the children's faces, bright, innocent, smiling, now all missing. Humanity demanded answers. In the middle of this chaos stood Commander Rhea Voss, a woman with cold gray eyes and a soldier's calm voice. She had once led rescue missions during the asteroid wars. Now she stared at the last image of Aurora's Hope on her screen, the ship slowly disappearing behind strange energy waves. Her hands trembled slightly. "Children," she whispered. "They took our children." No one ordered her to act. No one had the courage. But Rhea didn't wait. She gathered a small team, 5 men and women who trusted her more than anyone. Among them were Lieutenant Cross, a skilled pilot, and Dr. Ellen Myra, a scientist who once studied alien signal patterns. Together they boarded the stealth ship Silver Dawn. Their mission was simple but dangerous: find Aurora's Hope, or learn what happened to it. When Silver Dawn left orbit, Earth Command didn't even log the departure. It was an unofficial operation, a ghost mission. For 6 days they followed faint energy trails across empty space. Then near a dying red star they found something. Floating wreckage, pieces of the human ship, charred metal drifting silently. But Rhea's eyes narrowed. "No bodies," she said softly. Dr. Myra scanned the debris. "They were taken alive," she whispered. Then Cross pointed at the screen. "Commander, look!" A faint signal blinked in the corner, a piece of data still trapped inside one of the wreck fragments. They pulled it aboard and restored the file. The video was shaky but clear enough to see. It showed the Aurora's Hope surrounded by massive alien ships, long black vessels with sharp, curved armor. Strange symbols glowed on their hulls. In the background, someone screamed. Then a bright beam of blue energy hit the ship, wrapping it in light. The next moment, Aurora's Hope was gone, pulled inside the largest alien carrier like a fly caught by a spider. Silence filled the control room. Rhea replayed the footage again and again, memorizing every detail. Then Dr. Myra spoke quietly. "That's a Velthar carrier. They're known for slave trade. They don't take prisoners and they take property." Cross's hands clenched the console. "They took children," he said, voice shaking. "They're monsters." Rhea didn't respond. She looked out at the stars, her reflection shining faintly in the glass. Her mind was already racing. The Velthar Dominion controlled many systems hidden deep beyond Council space. No one dared enter their territory. The Galactic Council turned a blind eye, afraid to provoke war. But Rhea wasn't afraid. She stood tall, her expression calm but cold. "Prepare the ship. We're going after them." "Commander," Cross said in disbelief, "that's suicide." "No backup, no permission," Rhea cut him off. "If we wait for permission, they'll be gone forever." Dr. Myra looked at her. "You really think 5 of us can face the Velthar?" Rhea turned slowly, eyes hard as steel. "I don't need an army. I just need proof. Once the truth reaches Earth, the galaxy will answer." Her words hung in the air like quiet thunder. As the Silver Dawn prepared to enter the Velthar border, Rhea recorded a message and sent it through a private relay. It was short and simple, a single sentence to Earth Command. "They took our children. I'm bringing them home." Then she gave the order, "Activate stealth field. Engines to full." The stars outside stretched into long white lines as the ship jumped into dark space. Inside the command deck, every crew member sat silent. The hum of the ship was the only sound. Rhea watched the stars fade, her eyes burning with cold determination. She knew this mission could be her last. But she also knew one truth. Humanity never forgot those who harmed their own. And somewhere in the blackness ahead, 100 human children waited, scared, alone, and hoping someone would come. Rhea whispered under her breath, her voice steady and full of promise. "We're coming for you." The scene ended with the ship vanishing into the void, a single human vessel moving into forbidden space, unaware that this rescue mission would soon start a war that would shake the galaxy itself. The unexpected war had just begun. The silver dawn glided through the darkness of space, hidden beneath its stealth field. The stars outside looked strange, cold and far away. For 3 days, the ship traveled deeper into forbidden space, following the faint energy trail left by the alien carrier that had taken Aurora's hope. Commander Rhea Voss stood on the command deck, her eyes fixed on the holographic map. Her face was calm, but her mind was burning. Every second felt heavy. 200 children were somewhere out there, scared, alone, waiting. "Commander," said Lieutenant Cross, breaking the silence. "We're close. The signal's getting stronger." Rhea nodded slowly. "Take us in. Power down external lights." The silver dawn drifted forward like a shadow. Ahead of them, a red planet appeared floating in the void. It looked dead, its surface covered in dark scars and cracks. But sensors showed something strange. Deep below the surface, massive energy readings pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Dr. Ellen Myra frowned at her screen. "There's a structure underground. Metal walls, reactors. It's not natural." Cross looked uneasy. "A hidden base?" "Not just a base," Myra said quietly. "It's a fortress." Rhea's eyes hardened. "That's where they're keeping them. Hook and suspense, first 5 minutes." As the ship moved into orbit, the view shifted. Massive hangars and strange towers jutted out from the planet's surface, half buried in red dust. Alien ships hovered near them, moving in silent patrols. The entire world was surrounded by a faint blue energy shield. The crew stared in disbelief. "They turned this whole planet into a prison," Cross muttered. "Not a prison," Rhea corrected softly. "A cage." She activated the stealth sensors. The ship slid low over the surface, barely visible. The sound of soft hums filled the cabin as they entered the planet's upper atmosphere. The deeper they went, the darker it became. Strange static filled the comms. The stars vanished. For a moment, everything went black, then suddenly, light. The silver dawn dropped through a layer of thick clouds and emerged above a vast alien city glowing red beneath the shield. Dr. Myra's voice trembled. "It's alive down there. Thousands of signals, factories, ships." Rhea's tone stayed calm. "Start scanning. Look for any human life signs." For long minutes, the computers hummed and blinked. Then a soft alarm beeped. "Got something," Myra said quickly. "Human biosigns, weak but real. Deep underground near the central reactor." Cross stared at the readings. "That's miles below the surface. How do we reach them?" Rhea didn't answer. She was already moving toward the armory. "Prepare the infiltration pods. We're going down." Cross turned to her. "Commander, if we land there, we'll lose stealth. They'll see us the second we touch ground." Rhea looked back. "Then we'll make sure we leave before they can react." Scene shift. The descent. 2. Small black pods separated from Silver Dawn and dropped through the clouds, silent as falling stones. Inside the first pod, Rhea gripped her harness tightly. The planet grew larger below. The red light of the alien city reflected on her face. "Landing in 30 seconds, Cross's voice said through the comm. The pod hit the ground with a soft thud and burrowed slightly into the dust. The team stepped out, weapons ready. The air smelled like burning metal. Strange alien towers rose around them, humming with blue energy. They moved fast, through tunnels, across dark corridors lit by red symbols. Every wall carried the mark of the Velthar Dominion, sharp and cruel. Then they heard it, a faint sound, like crying. Rhea raised her hand. The team stopped. They followed the sound through a narrow door and entered a large chamber. Inside were dozens of metal cages, each containing small, pale figures. Human children. Their faces were thin, their eyes wide with fear. Some were asleep. Some stared blankly. Dr. Myra covered her mouth in shock. Oh my God. Rhea stepped closer. One of the children looked up and whispered, "Are you real?" Rhea knelt beside the cage. "Yes," she said softly. "We're here to take you home." But before they could open the locks, an alarm blared through the base. Red lights flashed. The ground shook. Cross's voice came through the radio. "Commander, enemy ships are launching. They found Silver Dawn." Rhea looked up sharply. "Evac wrote." "Blocked," Cross replied. "They've sealed the upper tunnels." Rhea's jaw tightened. "Then we make a new one." She lifted her weapon and fired at the nearest control terminal. "Sparks XP." The Silver Dawn raced through dark space, engines screaming with power. Behind it, the red planet of Tarkun 7 burned. The alien base was in ruins. Explosions rippled across its surface like fire spreading through dry leaves. Inside the ship, alarms beeped, smoke filled the air, and frightened voices echoed in the corridors. 200 rescued children huddled together, wrapped in blankets, their small faces pale and silent. Commander Rhea Voss stood on the bridge, blood on her cheek, eyes locked on the screens. "Status!" she shouted. "Shields are down to 30%, said Lieutenant Cross. "We can't keep this up much longer. They've got warships chasing us." Dr. Ellen Myra looked up from her console. "We have to reach jump range. If we can make one more hyperspace jump, we can get out of their radar." "Then do it," Rhea ordered. The Silver Dawn shook violently as plasma fire hit its hull. The children screamed. One of the crew members fell to the floor. For a second, it seemed everything would end here, in fire and silence. Then the engines roared to life. The ship vanished into hyperspace, leaving the Velthar ships behind. Hook and suspense, first 5-7 minutes. Far away, on Earth, the first faint signal from the Silver Dawn reached command headquarters. It was damaged, broken, and full of static, but it carried Rhea's voice. "This is Commander Rhea Voss. Mission status: children rescued. Enemy contact confirmed. Velthar Dominion responsible. Repeat. Velthar Dominion took human children. We are returning home." The message spread across the planet in minutes. Every screen, every news network, every colony broadcast showed the same message. Human children enslaved by aliens. The world went silent. Then the silence broke into anger. In the global command hall, leaders from Earth's united governments gathered. The air was heavy. The holographic image of Rhea's message replayed again and again. At the center table sat Admiral Marcus Kane, the old war hero. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp like blades. He had seen wars before, but never something like this. "They took children," he said finally. His voice was quiet but full of rage. "Our children." One of the council members hesitated. "Admiral, we must not act without the Galactic Council's permission. A war could destroy everything." Kane turned slowly toward him. "Permission? Did the Velthar ask for permission when they kidnapped our children? Did the Council act when our ship vanished?" "No. They watched." The room fell silent. Kane stood. "Then humanity will act alone." Scene shift. Earth awakens across the solar system. The call to arms echoed. Massive shipyards came alive. Hidden war factories under the lunar surface opened for the first time in decades. From the shadows of Mars, the first Retribution-class warships rose. Black steel giants, silent and terrifying. Their hulls glowed with blue light, powered by Earth's newest weapon, the Sol Engine, a technology never shared with any alien. In the skies of Earth, hundreds of smaller ships joined formation. Soldiers trained, engineers loaded weapons, and scientists worked non-stop. The message spread through every colony, every moon base, every outpost. They took our children. We take back our honor. The Retribution fleet was born. Meanwhile, the Silver Dawn limped home. Rhea stood by the medical bay watching as Dr. Myra treated the children. Some were weak, some injured, but alive. One little girl reached for Rhea's hand. "Will we go home now?" she asked softly. Rhea smiled faintly. "Yes, we're going home. And no one will ever hurt you again." But deep inside, Rhea knew the truth. Home would not be peaceful anymore. The galaxy had crossed a line. Scene shift. The Velthar's fear in a dark council chamber far across the stars. The alien lords of the Velthar Dominion gathered. Their reptilian faces twitched nervously as reports flooded in. Their base on Tarkun 7 was destroyed. Hundreds of soldiers were dead. A human warship had entered their space and escaped. The Velthar Supreme Warlord slammed his clawed hand on the table. You let them live. You let humans leave our world. A general bowed his head. We didn't expect them to fight. They were only 5, the warlord hissed. 5 humans burned a fortress. What do you think their armies will do? His words echoed through the hall. For the first time, fear filled the Velthar Council. Scene shift. The human answer days later, the Silver Dawn entered Earth's orbit. Hundreds of ships escorted it through the upper atmosphere. Every screen on the planet showed the live return of Rhea Voss and the rescued children. When Rhea stepped onto the landing platform, crowds below cheered and cried. Reporters shouted questions, flashes filled the air, but Rhea ignored them all. She walked straight to Admiral Kane. She saluted. Mission complete, sir. Kane looked at her, at the dirt, the blood, the exhaustion in her eyes. You did what others would not, Rhea replied quietly. They took our children. I couldn't stay silent. Kane turned to his officers. Neither will Earth. He walked to the center of the platform and gave the order that would change history. Prepare the retribution fleet. Launch when ready. Final suspense, last few minutes. In orbit, massive warships powered up. Engines lit the darkness like suns. The flagship Earth's Vengeance led the fleet, its hull carrying one message written in giant letters. For the children. As the ships aligned, alien communication networks began to panic. Warnings spread across the galaxy. The humans are moving. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back. They wanted a lesson in consequences, he said quietly. Let them learn. Rhea, now seated beside him, looked out at the stars. This will start a war, she whispered. Kane nodded. Yes, but not the one they expect. The fleet accelerated, breaking through the orbit line in perfect formation. From the windows of cities and stations, humans across the system watched the bright trails streak across the sky, the fire of Earth rising again. The alien empires who once laughed at humanity would soon tremble. Because when humans fought for survival, they fought hard. But when they fought for their children, they became unstoppable. The alien dreadnought Velthar Prime floated like a dark moon over a dying star. Its hull shimmered with the faint glow of containment fields and power veins. Thousands of lives trapped inside. Deep in its metallic heart, the stolen human children were kept in silent cages. Inside one of the long corridors, a small boy named Eli whispered, "Do you think someone's coming for us?" His voice trembled, but there was still hope in it. A girl beside him, Mara, tried to smile. My mom said humans never leave anyone behind. They'll come. In another part of the ship, Commander Rhea Voss and her team moved like ghosts through narrow maintenance shafts. The stolen security codes from the captured Velthar ship were working for now. Each sound of distant alien footsteps made their hearts pound. Energy readings ahead, said Tech Officer Jonas softly, his scanner glowing faintly blue. Looks like a containment grid possibly holding the children. Rhea's face hardened. Then that's where we go, quietly. No mistakes. They reached a large observation window overlooking a chamber filled with glowing cages. Tiny figures sat inside, human children silent and pale. Their eyes looked lost in the dim light. Jonas gritted his teeth. Monsters. They're just kids. Rhea's voice was low but cold. We get them out. All of them. Suddenly the chamber lights flickered red. The security systems came alive. A deep voice echoed through the ship's speakers in an alien tongue. Then a translation followed in broken English. Human intruders detected. Prepare for capture, Rhea turned sharply. We've been found. The team sprinted through the metal corridors. Heavy doors began to seal around them, one after another. Jonas forced one open using his pulse cutter. Sparks flew! Move! Rhea shouted. Behind them, armored Velthar soldiers appeared, towering creatures with gleaming armor and 4 glowing eyes. Plasma bolts screamed past, burning holes in the walls. Rhea's squad returned fire. The narrow corridor lit up with energy flashes. One human marine fell, hit in the chest, his body sliding to the floor. We can't fight them head-on, shouted another soldier, Nira, dragging the wounded man. Rhea slammed a control panel and spoke to her team. New plan. We're going for the control core. If we disable the ship's systems, we can unlock the cages remotely. Jonas nodded. But it's in the command sector, completely fortified. Rhea looked at him with fire in her eyes. Then we make them believe the storm has arrived. The team split. Half went to draw attention, firing at patrols and planting EMP charges. Explosions echoed across the dreadnought. The whole ship shook. Meanwhile, Rhea and Jonas crawled through the access vents toward the control chamber. Through a crack in the vent, they saw the alien commander, Lord Vakar, the Velthar warlord responsible for the abductions. His skin was dark silver, his armor plated with energy symbols. He stood before a massive holographic map showing the captured children's stasis pods. "The humans will come," he said in his deep metallic voice. "When they do, they will kneel." Rhea's grip on her rifle tightened. Her voice trembled with rage. "No, we rise." They dropped from the vent like shadows, firing before the guards could react. Plasma blasts tore through consoles and armor. The room filled with fire and screams. Lord Vakar turned, deflecting shots with a shimmering energy shield. He was fast, too fast. His weapon extended into a blade of pure plasma. Jonas tried to hold him off, but Vakar struck him down with a single blow. Rhea dove behind a console, breathing hard. She grabbed a power cell from her pack, her last EMP charge. As Vakar raised his blade, she shouted, "You should have now." The stars burned red with war. The Velthar Prime, now crippled and half in ruins, drifted through space while hundreds of alien warships approached from every direction. Their hulls glowed with the light of charging weapons. Inside the dreadnought, Commander Rhea Voss and her small human strike team stood in silence, surrounded by rescued children. Every corridor trembled under distant explosions. Jonas checked the scanner, his face pale. "Multiple fleets inbound. Velthar Dominion Class A battleships. We can't fight this." Rhea didn't look away from the stars. "We don't have to fight them. We just have to survive long enough to send the truth." She tapped her wrist console, linking to the destroyed command systems. "If I can transmit what these monsters did, the entire galaxy will see it." "But the Council won't help us," said Nira, reloading her rifle. "They never do." Rhea's eyes hardened. "Then humanity will handle it our way." Far away, in orbit around Earth, Admiral Keon Darius stood on the bridge of the carrier Resolute Dawn. The message from Rhea came through. Static, distorted images, and one sentence that froze the room. "They took our children." The entire command center went silent. Then Keon turned to his officers. "Ready the fleet. We're going in." "But sir," said one, "the Council will call this an act of war." "Then it's war," Keon interrupted coldly. "No one takes human children and lives to tell about it." Within hours, Earth's fleets began to move. Dozens of ships launched from orbit, leaving bright trails of light across the black. The message spread through every human colony. Miners, engineers, soldiers, traders. They all heard the same cry for help, and they all answered. Back aboard the Velthar Prime, Rhea watched the children huddled together in a cargo bay. Many were asleep, their faces thin and pale. Some still cried quietly, afraid of the rumbling outside. She crouched beside Eli and Mara. "We're getting you home," she said softly. Eli looked up, wiping his eyes. "Home? Is it far?" Rhea smiled gently. "Not anymore." Before she could speak again, Jonas shouted from the control deck, "Commander! Incoming ships, warp signatures, human." Rhea's heart stopped. "What?" The main screen flickered on. From hyperspace, blue lights burst across the darkness. One by one, human warships emerged, sleek, armored, their engines roaring with silent fire. The Resolute Dawn appeared first, followed by the Iron Vow, the Vanguard, and a dozen smaller destroyers. The Velthar fleets hesitated. Their commanders expected silence, obedience, fear. Instead, they faced a storm. Admiral Keon's voice echoed through all channels. "This is Earth Command. You have stolen our children. Return them, or face extinction." The Velthar responded with laughter, cold, mechanical laughter that spread through open frequencies. "You humans think you can threaten the Dominion? You are insects." Keon's expression didn't change. "Then let's see how insects bite." The first barrage came from the Velthar side, thousands of plasma blasts cutting across the void. The human fleet twisted and broke formation, dodging and counterfiring with rail cannons and plasma lances. For a moment, it looked hopeless. The Velthar ships were larger, older, stronger. Then something new appeared behind the human fleet. From hyperspace, an enormous shadow emerged, a ship never seen before by alien eyes. It was the Ares Protocol, humanity's newest experimental dreadnought. Its surface was black as night, absorbing light. Its hull engraved with the words, "We remember." The Velthar fleets opened fire on it, but their energy blasts vanished into its dark armor. Then the dreadnought responded, with one massive beam that split the stars. A Velthar capital ship exploded instantly, scattering molten fragments into space. The second followed within seconds. Rhea and the children watched through the viewport. The stars turned white with light and fire. Jonas whispered, awestruck, "They came for us." Rhea stood tall, eyes wet. "No, they came for them," she said, looking at the freed children. Inside the Velthar flagship, chaos erupted. "Human weapons are piercing our shields," shouted one officer. Lord Vakar, burned and wounded, staggered to his feet. "Retreat. Regroup the fleet." But it was too late. The Ares Protocol launched a final strike, a pulse that disabled every Velthar ship in range. The dreadnoughts went silent, their lights fading. The battlefield became a graveyard of alien metal. Rhea's team was picked up minutes later by a human shuttle. When she stepped onto the deck of the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Keon met her with a silent nod. Rhea saluted, her uniform torn and burned. "The children are safe, sir." Keon looked out at the ruined Velthar ships drifting in space. "Then the message is clear." He turned to the officers behind him. "Transmit this across the stars. Humanity does not forget, and we do not forgive." As the transmission echoed through the galaxy, alien empires watched in fear. For the first time in centuries, they realized, and the humans, once called weak and emotional, were capable of something terrifying. Not cruelty, not rage, but unity. And that was far more dangerous. The last scene zooms out slowly. Hundreds of human ships surrounding the shattered Velthar fleet. Rhea stands beside a viewport, watching the rescued children playing in safety for the first time. She whispers to herself, "They took our children, and now they tremble." The galaxy watched in silence. Every major news network, every alien communication hub, and every outpost from the frozen moons of Sithar to the shining cities of Valen Prime played the same transmission. Woman's voice echoed through the stars, calm, controlled, human. "They took our children. We took them back." Behind her words, footage appeared. Velthar soldiers dragging terrified human children into cages. Then came the scenes of rescue. The children crying as human soldiers broke the locks. Commander Rhea Voss leading them through smoke and fire. The final image showed Earth's fleet standing over the ruins of the Velthar Armada. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy trembled. Inside the Galactic Council Hall, hundreds of alien delegates shouted over one another. The great chamber glowed with blue light filled with noise and fear. "This is unacceptable," one delegate cried. "Humanity broke council law." "They attacked a sovereign empire," shouted another. "An empire," replied a quiet voice, "that enslaved children." Every head turned toward the human representative, Ambassador Leon Hayes. Her expression was calm, but her eyes burned. She placed a small holographic cube on the table. It projected the Velthar footage, the cages, the screams, the terrified faces. "Tell me," she said softly, "which law protects this?" The hall went silent. Even the loudest voices stopped. The Velthar delegate hissed, his voice sharp and proud. "Your species is dangerous. You respond with violence to every insult." Ambassador Hayes looked directly at him. "We respond when you touch our children." Meanwhile, far from politics, Commander Rhea Voss walked through the recovery center on Luna Base. The rescued children were playing under artificial sunlight. Their laughter echoed down the white halls. Eli ran to her, holding a small toy ship. "Commander, look! It's the Aurora's Hope! I made it!" Rhea knelt down, smiling softly. "That's beautiful, Eli." He frowned a little. "You're going to fight again, aren't you?" Rhea hesitated, then nodded. "If I must. To make sure no one ever hurts you again." Eli looked up at her, his voice small but steady. "Then we'll be safe. Because you're human." She hugged him gently, tears forming in her eyes. "Yes, you're safe now." Across the galaxy, the effects of the human retaliation spread fast. Slave markets on border worlds shut down overnight. Smugglers who once traded in human captives fled into hiding. Entire fleets stopped their patrols near human space. Even the mighty Velthar Dominion, broken and humiliated, sent a transmission to Earth. Their new leader spoke with trembling arrogance. "We seek peace. We did not understand your kind. Admiral Keon Darius stood before the screen in Earth Command. His voice was calm but cold. "Now you do," he said. "If you ever take from us again, you won't have a second chance." The transmission ended. The Velthar world went dark for good. On the Council's main news channels, reporters whispered the same phrase over and over. The day the humans roared. Aliens across the stars watched the replay of the Earth fleet standing over the wreckage, their ships glowing in silent formation. To some it was terrifying, to others it was hope. Small colonies that had suffered under galactic powers began to rise. They sent messages to Earth asking for friendship, protection, and alliance. For the first time, humanity wasn't seen as a weak newcomer. They were seen as something far more powerful, something that stood for its own. Later that night, Rhea sat in a quiet observation room aboard the Resolute Dawn. The stars shimmered outside, calm after chaos. Jonas walked in, his arm still wrapped from battle. "It's over," he said. Rhea didn't look away from the stars. "No," she whispered. "It's just beginning. The galaxy won't forget what happened here." Jonas nodded slowly. "Good. Maybe they shouldn't." They stood in silence for a long moment. Then from the deck below a faint sound rose, children's laughter. Rhea smiled faintly. "That's what we fight for." In the final scenes, news broadcasts flash across alien worlds. One shows a Velthar city where crowds gather in fear as Earth's message plays on giant screens. "We are humanity. We forgive many things, but not this." Another scene shows a quiet farm on Mars, where families watch the same message with tears of pride. The narrator's voice, Rhea's voice, speaks over it. "They thought we were weak. They thought we were simple. But they forgot one thing: humans are built to protect, built to fight for those we